Week 14 of the NFL season. We have got 6 teams on bye this week coming off of that Thanksgiving week of games. We've got the Denver Broncos in the bye week, the Indianapolis Colts. Those two teams, by the way, will square off next week in a huge game that might determine who the 7th wild card or the 7th team and the last wild card is in the AFC playoffs. The New England Patriots, who cares? The Washington Commanders are on bye, the Baltimore Ravens, and the Houston Texans, who are going to win that absolutely horrible division known as the AFC South. But we still have 13 games to go over today in today's video. And folks, if you have not yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more weekly NFL predictions here on the channel. So far this year, we've predicted every single NFL game. And again, we are going to continue to do so as the season progresses here in 2024. So make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to also follow us on Instagram as well. We hit 20,000 subscribers on the channel, and tomorrow we should be having a 20,000 subscribers special video here on the channel where, again, we will announce a giveaway of sorts on both YouTube and Instagram. So make sure to follow on Instagram in the description down below. Also, earlier today we posted our NBA predictions, our college basketball best bets, and yesterday we posted our college football conference championship predictions as well. And on Sunday we posted our UFC 310, Alexandre Pantoja and Kai Asakura full card predictions. Okay. Let's go into our first game here of the week, Thursday Night Football. These two teams playing back-to-back Thursday night games, and it will be the Green Bay Packers heading on over to Ford Field to take on the Detroit Lions. Say it every week, but I'm going to say it again. The Detroit Lions are the best team in the NFL. Guys, I need to buy a Jared Goff. I'm probably going to do this. I'm going to buy a Jared Goff jersey in every single color. I don't know how, well, it's going to be the black one, the gray. They still wear the gray? I don't think so. The white, the blue. I'll buy 3 Jared Goff jerseys because I've been on the Lions all year long. The Lions have made me more money this season than any other team. They're the best team in the NFL. I know they didn't cover last week against the Bears, but, you know, we took an alt line at -2.5 too, and we were fine. We parlayed that with the Cowboys. You know, we cashed. Anyways, the Lions are the best team in the NFL, okay? And now you get them in a good matchup here against the Green Bay Packers. I like -3 all day long here with Detroit. Again, the best team in the NFL. I said it a couple weeks ago, and I'm going to say it again. I said this many weeks ago. The Lions are finishing the regular season 16-1. Week 2, their loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Shout out to Tampa Bay, winning football games and looking really good now to win the NFC South. I said it early on in the season. That loss that the Detroit Lions had in week number 2 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is going to be their only loss the entire season. They're done losing in 2024 and in the postseason. This team is winning all the way out to the Super Bowl. Trust me, this is the best team in the NFL. Jared Goff is the 4th best quarterback in the... he's the 4th best quarterback in the NFL. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Jared Goff. Justin Herbert's 5. Jared Goff's the 4th best quarterback in the NFL right now, and I'm not taking no for an answer on that one. You know, I truly believe it. They beat the Bears last week again, close game. It still ended up winning it. Now, of course, this week they get the Green Bay Packers. What happened the last time these two teams squared off? Detroit went to Lambeau and they showed, hey, they can win it on the road and they can win outdoors. It's one of their 2 or 3, I think, outdoor games this entire season, which is crazy. But they went on the road and they got the job done. And the defense really held Jordan Love and the Packers in check in that game. Detroit took over the football game. They really didn't need much out of Jared Goff. They got a big interception at the end of the first half. That was a pick 6 that, you know, basically pushed the Lions to victory. It was almost an insurmountable lead considering the way the Lions play. And, of course, Detroit wins the football game by 10 points. Jared Goff is absolutely killing it this season. Of course, the two-headed monster running back, Sonic and Knuckles, is their nickname. I kid you not. Of course, we're talking about Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. I don't mind the Packers. I just don't think they're as good as the Lions. Again, we talk about how good the NFC North is, right? How great the Packers are, how good the Vikings are. But the Lions beat both of those teams on the road. Now, of course, the Vikings and Packers still have to play Detroit here as Green Bay's game, but they both have to go to Ford Field, and they've already lost to Detroit at home this season. And I get it, the Vikings game is a lot closer than what the Packers game was, but I just think that kind of shows how much better Detroit is compared to the rest of the NFC. Because again, other than the Packers and the Vikings, who are the top teams in the NFC? The Eagles, and that's it. Maybe the Bucks. I think the Bucks, again, at full health, I think the Bucks are going to be, you know, a real contender, truly. I've been saying it again a couple weeks now. I think the Bucks are going to win the NFC South, and everything's kind of playing out the way we thought it was going to. The Falcons aren't very good, and, you know, the Buccaneers, close game last week in Carolina, but they pulled it out. We're taking the Detroit Lions to beat the Green Bay Packers. I don't think the Packers are a bad team. They've won 3 in a row. Beat the Bears, proved me wrong in the Dolphins game. We thought they were going to beat the 49ers. But this is not really me hating on the Packers. This is the Lions are the best team in the NFL. And the Packers, this is their 2nd of 4 straight night games. Dolphins on Thanksgiving night, Lions on Thursday night, Seahawks on Sunday night, Saints on Monday night. Wow. Anyways, give me the Detroit Lions to win the football game. They will go to 12-1 with this victory. Jared Goff, man. Jared Goff. Give me the Lions to win. They're the best team in the NFL. Next up, we move on to the Sunday games. We start things off with the New Orleans Saints and the New York Giants. A game that literally has no meaning to it other than, maybe the Giants keep losing out to try to get Shedeur Sanders. I feel like, again, the race for the number one pick is between the Giants, Raiders, and Jaguars. And I think the Jaguars, low-key, have a decent chance of getting that with the Trevor Lawrence injury. I will get to that once we get to the Jaguars and Titans game later in the video. But this game, we get the Saints and the Giants. New Orleans is coming off their loss last week to the Los Angeles Rams. Looked good in the first half, completely fell apart in the second half. And I'm telling you, Taysom Hill being out for the season really changes this team. He does. Taysom Hill's a huge spot of this team. Like, who's gonna come in? Obviously, they're not gonna run these sets anymore. But the Wildcat on 4th and 1, Taysom, you need a yard, runs QB power up the middle, gets that. They don't have that anymore. They don't have that flexibility at Taysom Hill. He is a Swiss Army knife for the Saints squad. You put him at tight end. He plays special teams. You put him at quarterback. They don't have that anymore. And they were really utilizing Taysom Hill more in the last 3 weeks than they had the entire season. Hell, I traded him away in fantasy because I was like, hey, Taysom Hill's not gonna do much now. And look at him, right? Had a big presence the last 3 weeks. I thought, again, his role started to diminish when Derek Carr came in, but they started, to use Hill and incorporate Hill a lot more other than just at the tight end position where, let's be honest, he's the second best tight end on the team but behind Juwan Johnson. But obviously, again, he's used for more than just a tight end. They used him a lot at fullback this season. Him being gone is a big difference for the Saints squad. I'm serious. The receiving core obviously very injured. Rashid Shaheed out for the year. Chris Olave maybe not out for the year, but I mean, if he comes back like the last couple weeks of the year, I guess we are kind of coming towards that. But if Olave is going to come back, I think it will be somewhat soon. So again, this receiving core is what? Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Juwan Johnson's probably the most reliable receiver on this team. MVS, honestly, though, I mean, MVS is Derek Carr's deep ball guy. He's his new version of Shaheed, of Henry Ruggs, right? I mean, that's what they utilize him as here in New Orleans. But guys, losing Taysom Hill is a big deal. Taysom Hill had 138 rushing yards in their win over the Browns a couple weeks ago. He led their team in receiving yards last week with 37, which isn't a lot, but still, because Alvin Kamara had such a big game on the ground. Don't get me wrong, I think they still beat the Giants, because the Giants suck. The Giants are horrible. Now, again, I think Drew Lock starting over Tommy DeVito, that helps. But Malik Neighbors said it best a couple weeks ago, the problem with the Giants is not their quarterback position. It's not. They would have posted the same result against the Cowboys with Daniel Jones than they did with Drew Lock. I don't think Drew Lock played a horrible game. 180 pass yards, 60 rushing yards. I don't think it was a bad game for him. But again, Drew Lock's not the solution. The solution was not getting rid of Daniel Jones this season. Next season, okay, sure. Again, they are going to be in the running to probably get Shedeur Sanders. If not, they'll get Cam Ward. I'll be honest, outside of Shedeur and Cam Ward, I don't see another first-round starting caliber quarterback in the draft this season. I'm gonna be honest with you. Trust me, I watch college football all the time. I've watched Carson Beck. Obviously, I don't think he's at that level anymore, but I've seen Carson Beck. Jackson Dart maybe, but I don't know. I don't know if we can trust Jackson Dart immediately being a starting quarterback next year in the NFL. Definitely not Quinn Ewers. I don't think he's all that great. I don't know. I'm not too sold on anyone other than Ward and Shedeur. I think Shedeur is obviously the best quarterback in the draft. Anyone other than him and Cam Ward, I mean, Jalen Milroe? I don't see it. Anyways, I'm taking the Saints to win the football game. I do think the Giants cover just because the Saints don't do anything special on offense. Their defense will carry them through games at points. I don't think the offense is able to score that much, again, especially without Hill. Don't get me wrong, the Saints are going to win the football game, but I don't think it's by that big of a margin. Give me New Orleans to win the game by about a field goal. I think they'll win at the very end, so I do think the Giants, again, will cover the spread, but we do take the Saints to straight up win. Next up, we go on to an AFC North matchup. We have got, again, this grueling division. It is the Pittsburgh Steelers hosting the Cleveland Browns. I know the last game was competitive, real competitive, on Thursday Night Football in the snow, and the Browns beat the Steelers. We are taking the Steelers to cover the 6.5 points this time. I think they win the game by about a touchdown. I think Jameis Winston's done a good job for the Browns. Obviously, again, the turnovers were a little bit of an issue in that Broncos game, but, Jameis got it done for the most part, threw for 500 yards in that game, and obviously Jerry Jeudy with 235 receiving yards. Apparently, he did not win AFC Offensive Player of the Week. Instead, it went to Josh Allen, which I don't mind, but, Jeudy posted 250 yards receiving. Shouldn't he get that? I don't know. I get it. Josh Allen literally in the same play threw for a touchdown and caught a touchdown. Cleveland in the Jameis Winston era, right? They are, they're 2-3 now, right? The win over the Ravens, the win over the Steelers, both of their wins, and the two games they've played in division with Jameis Winston, they have won. I think they're better with Jameis, I'll be honest with you. Again, the passing attack really moves the ball downfield. They kind of have shied away from the run game recently just because, one, they were down in parts of that Broncos game, but primarily just because, Nick Chubb doesn't really look like the same guy. Jameis Winston's been so good for Cleveland. I don't think they beat the Steelers twice, though. I don't think they do. Pittsburgh's looking really good, man. They're looking really good. The defense didn't really shut down the Bengals in their last game, which is a little bit surprising. But, obviously, again, the Bengals have one of the best offenses in the NFL, and they are going to be well out the postseason, obviously. Burrow tried, man. Burrow's trying. I am going to bring up a trade proposition that I've just came up with in a little bit. I'm not saying it's ever going to happen, but you'll see. When we get to the Bengals game today, I guess it's Monday night. The last game of this video, I will talk about a trade that I've just thought up of. Again, I don't expect it to happen. I've never seen any rumblings about it, but I wouldn't mind it if it happened, okay? Trust me, we'll get to that later. The Steelers, again, scored 44 points against the Bengals. I get it, the Bengals defense isn't great, but that means something. Russell Wilson threw for 414 yards. The Steelers are the better team in this football game. They are not losing to the Browns twice. They just played 2 weeks ago, and the Pittsburgh offense now has gotten rid of the, we can't score touchdowns thing. They scored a lot, again, against that Bengals team on the road, and now they're back at home. They're not losing to the Browns twice. Give me the Pittsburgh Steelers to win, and yes, they will cover in the competitive AFC North. I do think they cover this line. Give me Pittsburgh minus 6.5. I think they win the game by about a touchdown. Next up, we move on to Minnesota. It is Kirk Cousins' return to Minnesota. Obviously, again, played most of his career in Minnesota, started with the Washington Redskins, but now, of course, Kirk in Atlanta taking on the Vikings. I don't think it goes well for the Falcons. Just like we've been saying for weeks now, things just aren't going the way of the Falcons. The Falcons aren't that good. They got lucky early in the season because they beat an injured Buccaneers team. Todd Bowles is still the worst coach in the NFL. That's how they won the Thursday night game in Atlanta. Okay? They barely got by the Cowboys. They barely got by the Saints the first time, and they got lucky in the Eagles game. This Falcons team is not that good. They've lost 3 in a row, and we've been saying they're going to lose games. Now, I didn't think the Saints one was going to happen, but the Broncos and the Chargers ones, those were easy. How are the Falcons and Chargers even last week? It doesn't make sense. Guys, this Falcons team isn't good. It looks like Kirk has lost a step, obviously. Just the way he's throwing the football, obviously that big pick that the Chargers got, I believe it was the fourth quarter, I think. Third quarter, maybe? The velocity on that ball that Kirk Cousins threw looked way down. Maybe I just haven't been watching Kirk close enough this season, but my goodness, this Falcons team is not good. I've been saying it all year long, and now this is where they lose their lead on the division. This is it. We've been saying all year long. I've been saying it the last couple weeks. I think they finished 9-8. I think the Buccaneers finished 10-7. So Tampa wins the division. Atlanta will lose this game, and they still got to go to Washington later in the season. I think they'll beat the Raiders next week on the road, but who knows? Monday Night Football going to Vegas, maybe they lose that game. Then they get the Giants at home. They're not losing the Giants. Washington on the road, they're going to lose that game. Carolina at home. Hell, guys, the Panthers are playing good football. We'll see if the Panthers can beat the Falcons in Week 18. The Falcons are losing this game too, though. The Vikings, sure, they keep getting out of close games after close game after close game. This one will not be close, though. Kirk returns to Minnesota. I don't know what reception he's going to get. I've seen some discourse on Twitter saying that he's probably going to get booed. Doesn't matter. I don't really care. The Vikings, it's not a necessity they win this football game, but if they're still trying to win the division, obviously they need to win out until they play the Lions in Week 18. I think Minnesota beats Atlanta, though. I think they do. Sam Darnold's done a good job. Daniel Jones is here now. He's not going to play. And there is, again, a lot of uncertainty about the Vikings' future at the quarterback position. What happens next season? I don't think Sam Darnold returns, but I think what Sam Darnold has done this season is that he's bought himself a starting job somewhere else in the league. Great for Darnold. I'm happy for him. I didn't know if that was ever going to happen again, right? So is it J.J. McCarthy next season, or is it Aaron Rodgers? I feel like, again, where else can Aaron Rodgers go other than Minnesota or the Jets, obviously, still, but are they going to do that again? I don't know. Obviously, I think he'd be better than J.J. McCarthy, but I don't know. I feel like Rodgers is going to follow that Favre path and come here to Minnesota. I think the Vikings beat the Falcons. Again, we've seen Minnesota win games. They've won 5 in a row, given they've all been close. They've squeaked 5 out in a row. Indianapolis, Jacksonville on the road, Tennessee on the road, Chicago on the road in overtime, and Arizona last week. That's a good win over the Cardinals. I don't think the Cardinals are a bad football team. I've been saying it all year long, too. I think the Vikings beat the Falcons here. I think they'll cover the spread, too. It is -5.5. Yeah, Minnesota should cover it. Guys, the Falcons are stagnant on offense. They have not scored more than 20 points since early November. It was pre-election the last time the Falcons scored more than 20 points in a football game. Give me the Minnesota Vikings to win. They're the much better team. They have the much better offense, and the Falcons, again, just aren't that good. This is where Tampa officially takes over in the division race. Next up, we go to, of course, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. With a win here, the Buccaneers will leapfrog the Atlanta Falcons in the standings, and obviously as currently the division winner in the NFC South, even though losing twice to Atlanta this year. Both of them are 6-6. Obviously, the Falcons have the tiebreaker because of their 2 wins over Tampa Bay. But again, Atlanta got lucky. They played him the first time around. Todd Bowles just sucks as a head coach. Second time around, everyone was injured for the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are not still fully healthy, but slowly they're getting their guys back. And obviously, Mike Evans only needs 90 yards a game to get that 1,000 this season. I think he will, honestly. You know Baker's going to force feed him. And honestly, for the Buccaneers, they want to win football games. Yeah, force feed Mike Evans. It's your best shot to win. Mike Evans still is an elite receiver in the NFL. And now they get the lowly Las Vegas Raiders. Absolutely love the matchup. Love it for the Buccaneers. Barely got by last week in Carolina. Who cares? They won the football game. All that matters at this point for the Buccaneers is that they can win. So going to Carolina against a Panthers team that is playing much better this season and barely winning, there's no shame in that. They beat the Panthers by as many points as the Kansas City Chiefs beat the Panthers in that same exact building. There is no shame in the result of that football game. Whatever, Chuba Hubbard fumbled, it doesn't matter. Tampa still executed and they won the football game. Great on Baker Mayfield playing through injury, and you know what? That was the worst game Baker Mayfield's played all season long, and they still won, okay? I like what they're doing in the running back room right now. Bucky Irving and Rachaad White, two-headed monster. Obviously, it's not the caliber of Montgomery and Gibbs, but Bucky Irving's done a great job in his rookie season. Rachaad White is a nice change of pace as well in the pass game, and he can catch teams off guard with the run game as well. I like what the Buccaneers are doing. Mike Evans, obviously a force. Cade Otton's had a really good season as well, and trust me, Baker Mayfield is not going to make that many mistakes again in a football game like he did against Carolina. The Bucs are back, man. People forget, man. They beat the Commanders, the Lions, and the Eagles this season. Those are their first 3 wins. Other than the other 2 squads in the NFC North and the Vikings and the Packers, those are the best teams in the NFC. And Tampa Bay beat all of them. And they went to Detroit and won. Obviously, that's them at full health. The Chris Godwin injury still really stings, but Tampa's done a good job. They get the Las Vegas Raiders, who got absolutely screwed last week. Absolutely screwed. Ridiculous outcome against the Chiefs. You know, it's the Chiefs' voodoo magic, the dark magic, you know, the referees, obviously, just won Kansas City the football game. I'm not going to go in depth about it. It is what it is. The end result, the Kansas City Chiefs win the game on Black Friday. Now they get the Las Vegas Raiders go to Tampa Bay to play. I think Aiden O'Connell did a great job in that Kansas City game. I think he did great. I'm happy for Aiden O'Connell. Obviously, again, he's not coming back here next season, or if he does, he'll be in a backup role because the Raiders are going to end up with one of the big 2 quarterback prospects, I would assume. Again, I've been calling for the Raiders to do this. I've been calling for the Cowboys to do this. Hell, I'll call for the Giants to do it. Bring in Coach Prime and have Shedeur Sanders be the number 1 pick. There you go. You want money? That's how you do it. Now, again, Deion saying he's not leaving Colorado. If the price is right, I think it'll happen. Again, Deion was Shedeur's Pop Warner coach. He was his high school coach. He coached him at Jackson State, and then he coached him at Colorado as well. Why wouldn't he coach him again? I think the easiest fit, honestly, is the Raiders. Tom Brady's already got ties to Shedeur Sanders. Tom Brady helped train Shedeur Sanders in the offseason. Tom Brady's a part owner of the Las Vegas Raiders. It would make all the sense in the world that Shedeur Sanders is drafted by the Vegas Raiders. So if you are the Raiders, you want to lose. Luckily for them, I think they probably lose out. There's a huge game they play, though, December 22nd against the Jacksonville Jaguars in Vegas. The loser of that game will likely get the number 1 pick in the draft. That's a huge football game. I'm serious. It's a huge game. And obviously, again, with Lawrence out, it sucks for the Jags. Again, I'll get to that, Trevor Lawrence situation in a second. I think the Buccaneers beat the crap out of the Raiders. That's really, that's not a shocking pick. You expected that. Now, the Raiders, again, for Shedeur Sanders, Brock Bowers is going to be a monster for years to come. This guy is already a top 5 tight end in the league. Brock Bowers is an absolute monster. He's the best part of the squad. Now, since I think his name's Sincere McCormick, I believe it is, right? Yes, Sincere McCormick was the lead back last game for the Raiders. I don't know what's going on in that running back room. I have Alexander Mattison in fantasy, so I hope he gets healthy. Yes, I traded Patrick Mahomes for him earlier this year. At the deadline, I need to get rid of Mahomes. I have Jalen Hurts. I don't know who's going to be the lead back for Vegas. It's obviously not Amir Abdullah as people thought it was going to be. It was McCormick the last couple weeks. Maybe it will be McCormick or it will be Alexander Mattison this week. Regardless, it doesn't matter. The Raiders are going to be trailing the entire game because the Buccaneers are just going to put belt to ass in this game. Tampa Bay is the best team right now in the NFC South, and they're going to start playing like it. They're one of the better teams in the NFC. Trust me, they are going to make a run in the postseason. I think they're going to go back to the divisional round this year. Depending on who they play, maybe they go to the NFC Championship game. That's how good I think the Bucs are. They ran into a good Panthers team last week. There's no shame in only beating this Carolina Panthers team by 3 points. Give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to beat the Las Vegas Raiders. They will do it, and they will cover the 6.5 points as well. Next up, we go on to Philadelphia. You got the Philadelphia Eagles hosting the Carolina Panthers. Again, 12.5 points, too much. Too many points. The Panthers are going to stay in this football game. The line I see now actually is 13. So if you get 13, even better. Take it. The Panthers are not losing this game by that many points. This is a changed team since their win over the Saints. Bryce Young got his victory at home, and sure, they played 3 straight home games, one in between, obviously, in Germany. But Bryce Young has his mojo back. Bryce Young's back, man. He is back, and he's got all the confidence in the world now. Bryce Young deserved to win that football game last week against the Buccaneers. That drive that he put together just in overtime and at the end of the fourth quarter, spectacular. The balls to Adam Thielen were great. Again, Bryce Young has only gotten better too, and I think, again, Thielen coming back from injury makes a huge difference as well. Remember last year, again, Young wasn't very good, sure, but the guy that he always relied on to get the football to was the veteran in Thielen. Unfortunately for the Panthers, they take on the Eagles. They're not going to beat the Eagles, but I do think they keep it within the 12.5 points /13, whatever you get. I like Philadelphia a lot. You know, obviously going to Baltimore last week and winning, I didn't think it was going to happen, even though, yes, I do like the Eagles this season. I thought Baltimore was just going to be too good at home. But guys, Saquon Barkley should probably win the MVP. I've been the biggest Jared Goff MVP guy this year. Last week I said, it's probably going to be Lamar Jackson, but maybe it should be Saquon Barkley. No, it should probably be Saquon Barkley. I know, again, Barkley did not have a big week last week. He only had 107 rushing yards. But Saquon Barkley, I think, is the most valuable player in the NFL this season. Jalen Hurts, again, I've been saying it. I'll say it again. I think once we get to the postseason, Jalen Hurts might be the reason the Eagles don't go all the way. I'll be honest with you. I think the lack of quarterback play might end up costing the Eagles down the stretch. Great runner of the football, Jalen Hurts. Sometimes in the pass game, it's really lacking. I'm not going to lie. And also, I don't think it's just Jalen Hurts. It's Nick Sirianni, too. I don't like Sirianni. I don't think he's a great coach. I think he makes a lot of boneheaded decisions. Obviously, that was, at a max in their Jaguars game earlier this season. Ultimately, though, yeah, the Eagles going to beat the Panthers. That's not a controversial pick at all. I think the Panthers cover just because of the way Carolina's been playing. And, Philadelphia is a good team, don't get me wrong. But the Panthers right now are, I can't believe I'm saying this, they're higher than any team right now in football, just in terms of being competitive. I'm not saying they're going to win the football game, but in terms of keeping this game close, 13 points is way too many. I'm not telling you the Panthers are going to win this football game like I told you the Panthers were going to beat the Chiefs a couple weeks ago, even though they were close, but they will keep this game competitive. Give me Carolina to cover, but give me the Eagles to win the game outright. Next up, we go on to Nashville, Tennessee. We've got the Tennessee Titans taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. What an absolutely disgusting hit that was last week. Al-Shaair deserves to be suspended for the rest of the season, and it's a rightful decision. That was horrible. It was a dirty hit. There's nothing else you can say about it. The guy's actively giving himself up, and after he's already down, you go helmet to helmet. Ridiculous. For Trevor Lawrence, I know that sucks. He's out for the year, but honestly, the Jaguars weren't going anywhere the rest of the season anyway. It is what it is. Regroup for next season. It's fine, I guess. Mac Jones is now playing quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I get it. Trevor did not have his best year this season, but there is a huge dump off in quarterback play once you go from Lawrence to Mac Jones. There just is. Mac is back for this game. He'll be the starter for the rest of the season. Yeah, this is going to be rough for the Jaguars. The Titans, guys, no one wants to talk about it, but Will Levis has been playing really good football the last month, actually. He's played really turnover-free football. The reason that the Titans are losing is not because of Will Levis. Last week, they fumbled a couple times, but that was never Will Levis. Will Levis really isn't turning the ball over that much. Yeah, he threw a pick six in the Texans game, but the Titans ended up winning that football game. Will Levis, I'm sick and tired of the Will Levis disrespect. This is the franchise quarterback in Tennessee. And again, the way we see the draft, there's only 2 starting caliber guys right off the bat in this draft class. And it's Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. Likely, the way I see things, one of those 2 guys is going to New York. The other guy is going to Las Vegas. Shedeur goes first. Cam Ward goes second. I don't see another starting caliber guy right now in the draft. Obviously, again, there will be quarterbacks who do get drafted. We're talking about the Quinn Ewers of the world. We're talking about Jalen Milroe if he comes out. We're talking about Jackson Dart. We're talking about, I guess, Dylan Gabriel. I don't know how high Gabriel will go. We're talking about potentially Curtis Rourke from Indiana. But those guys are not starting caliber quarterbacks in the NFL. The only 2 really starting caliber guys are Ward and Shedeur. And again, the Titans are not going to get a chance to take one of those guys. And regardless of that, I think, again, Will Levis is the best guy for the job. He's done a great job with his Titans team recently. Now you get the Titans and the Jaguars. We're taking the Titans all day long. They're just the better team right now. The game's in Nashville, too. Will Levis isn't playing good football. I don't trust Mac Jones. Mac Jones hasn't been particularly great this season. He is 0-2 so far this season playing for the Jaguars. Again, I know the Jaguars are not a very good team. Their run game has really been lacking this season, obviously. You know, they've had the power struggle, I guess, with ETN and Tank Bigsby. It looks like it is ETN again as the lead back, which is fine with me. But just this team's so lacking everywhere they are. The Titans are the better football team. I said it last week, the Titans might win the division. It's still possible, guys. Hear me out. It's really still possible. If they win out with the schedule they have, it's very possible the Titans win out. We just need the Texans to start losing some football games. That's all I'm saying. Just need Houston to start losing. There's a chance week 18, Titans-Texans for the AFC South Championship. It's a very far-fetched remark, but I'm just saying. There's a chance. Give me the Titans, though, to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars at home in Nashville. They'll cover the 3.5 points. We trust in our guy, Will Levis, to get things done. Next up, we go to, I believe, the last 10 o'clock game. This is between the Miami Dolphins and the New York Football Jets. It looks like Aaron Rodgers will be sticking things out for the rest of the season. He will continue to start for the rest of the year. What does Rodgers' future hold? I believe, again, it is up north in Minnesota. Do Vikings fans want that? I don't know, but I think, again, the Vikings will be fine sitting J.J. McCarthy on the bench for one more season in order to make a push 1 year with Aaron Rodgers. And sure, Aaron Rodgers throwing to Justin Jefferson might be intriguing, but again, you've got a guy in Rodgers who kind of refuses to just throw the deep ball this season. He's not a great deep ball thrower anymore, which sucks because I really like Aaron Rodgers. But Rodgers, yes, has been a shell of his former self this year in New York, which typically happens when anybody goes to play for the New York Jets. So why wouldn't it happen to Aaron Rodgers as well? You know, Rodgers' whole documentary went out on Netflix this week. I haven't watched it because, you know, I'm not into psychedelics, so I don't really want to watch it, I'll be honest. Again, I like Rodgers. I don't know what the hell he's doing in a forest with psychs. Like, whatever. Good for him, man. But just not my vibe. I might watch the RFK part because that seems a little interesting, but I don't know. Maybe Rodgers asks RFK if he's ever done DMT before. I don't actually. Oh, wait, wasn't RFK like a heroin addict? I swear I wasn't trying to make that joke. He probably has done DMT. Anyways, he's past that. I think he's clean. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is. Regardless, the Jets and the Dolphins in this football game. I get the Dolphins lost to the Packers. I'm still holding out hope the Dolphins can make the postseason just because I want to see this team in the playoffs. They're 5-7. The Broncos, sure, they're 8-5 right now, currently holding that 7th spot in the AFC wildcard race. And yeah, actually, the Ravens are 8-5 too, but the Ravens did beat the Broncos, so it's the Broncos, the one currently on the hot seat. We'll see again if the Broncos can beat the Colts next week. I think the Broncos are just kind of in. I don't see where the Broncos lose 2 more games, right? Because they have. Oh no. Oh, never mind. They go to Los Angeles. They go to the Chargers. They go to the Bengals. They play the Chiefs. Now they could definitely lose. We'll see. Again, it's a huge game next week. The Broncos at home against the Colts. It's one of the biggest games of the week next week because if the Colts win, immediately Indianapolis is right back into things, and the Colts are just a game out. And again, with the schedule the Broncos have, yeah. The door for the Colts opens, and the door for the Miami Dolphins opens as well. Miami does have somewhat of a difficult schedule. They get the Jets at home this week, then they go to Houston, the Niners at home, they go to Cleveland on Sunday night, last game of the season, back to the Meadowlands to take on the New York Jets. The Dolphins win this football game. Guys, the Jets defense is not as good as it was last year anymore, and their offense just can't put up points. and they won't be able to keep up with this high-scoring Dolphins defense. Yeah, the Dolphins struggled last week on Thanksgiving against the Packers, but you know what? The Packers are one of the best teams in the NFL, and they have one of the best offenses in the NFL. The Jets don't have that at all. The Jets are just not good. They are not good on the offensive side of the ball. Guys, they're 3-9 this season. Weren't they 5-7 last year with Zach Wilson? I'm tired of the Zach Wilson disrespect. What the Jets should do this season and in the offseason, they should get Zach Wilson back and make him the starting quarterback next season. It's not going to happen, but one can hope. The Miami Dolphins will win this football game. The Jets, again, simply put, are just not good. Miami outscores them, and they run them out the building. Give me the Miami Dolphins. Tua, we got to get Tyreek Moore involved. Obviously, kind of touchdown pass that was deflected last week in Lambeau. I think the Dolphins win this football game, and I think they do it fairly easily. Give me Miami to cover and win here at home against the New York Football Jets. Next up, we move on to the afternoon games. We have got the Seattle Seahawks heading on over to Glendale, Arizona to take on the Arizona Cardinals. A huge game for the NFC West because the winner of this game will currently be in first place, I do believe, in the NFC West because I believe if the Cardinals win, they then have the tiebreaker over the Seahawks. They will. Yes, this game will determine currently who's the number 1 seed or the 4 seed as a whole. I guess actually no, 3. Yeah. Winner is going to be the 3 seed in the NFC for now, and of course, the leaders of the NFC West. It's a big game that I think Arizona wins. We were on Arizona earlier in the season when they went to Seattle. Obviously, they didn't win that football game, so we're going to be back on them for this one. Again, Arizona's lost 2 in a row. They started 6-4. They're now 6-6. That's fine. If they win this football game, they're back in first place in the division. I've been saying it for a while. I do think the Arizona Cardinals are the best team in the NFC West. And I hope they prove me right because they can, get right back into this spot after looking pretty bad in the Seahawks game the first time around, keeping competitive against the Vikings, choked that lead, but ended up again losing by 1. Look at the schedule the rest of the way out for the Cardinals. Seattle, New England, in Carolina, which is a tough game, but I think a very winnable game still for the Cardinals. In Los Angeles against the Rams, might be tough. At home against San Francisco. Is that all that tough anymore? I'm serious. Getting the Niners to come to your place, is that a hard game anymore? I don't know. It's weird. But the way that team is now, Isaac Guerrero, the starting back, we'll get to the Niners in a little bit. They come up in just a few games here, but I don't know. Is that really a tough game anymore? It's not. It doesn't feel like it. And at what point do the 49ers kind of just wave the white flag on Purdy this year? Obviously, Purdy's a starting quarterback for next season, but when do they go, all right, Purdy's playing injured. We really want to get it. We really want to risk him getting hurt at the end of the season. Let's just go to Brendan Allen and call it a year. I think they're 1 loss away from that. Obviously, yes, the Niners can still technically get in there 5-7. 1 more loss, and I do think the Niners wave the white flag. They get the Bears this week. You and I both know they're not losing the Chicago Bears. Okay. The Cardinals, I think, beat the Seahawks. This Seahawks Cinderella run has to end. It just does. 3 games in a row where they win, where we thought they were going to beat the Jets, but we didn't think they were going to beat the Niners. We did not think they were going to beat the Cardinals, and obviously they beat the Jets. That was so expected. Why was that game even? That game was taking candy from a baby. The same thing can be said about the Chargers-Falcons game. Those lines were ridiculous. They were. The Seahawks were the much better team, and Geno Smith has been playing great football. Jackson Smith-Njigba has established himself as a star receiver in the NFL. So great on JSN. DK Metcalf obviously has been dealing with injuries all year long, but he is, of course, in the fold as well. Kenneth Walker has not had a big game in a while, but that's fine because the pass game has made up for it, and the Seahawks defense has been playing pretty solid this year as well. I am concerned about the Seahawks actually winning the division because look at their schedule now. Arizona, which we think they're going to lose, at home against Green Bay on Sunday Night Football. Vikings in Chicago Thursday night, not too concerned, but it is a night game on the road. We'll see. And then in Los Angeles against the Rams to end the year. That is somewhat of a tough schedule. I do think the Cardinals get them here. We like Kyler Murray. I know he didn't have his best game last week or last 2 weeks. Kyler hasn't been having his best games. But I think, again, he's able to utilize his weapons. We're talking about Trey McBride. Marvin Harrison slowly getting more involved. He was very involved at the beginning of the year. Then kind of disappeared, and now Marvin again kind of getting involved more. I think James Conner's still the lead back for this team. Obviously, there was a little bit of, rumblings that maybe Trey Benson can start working in more. Than last week, they decided to give Benson the ball 3 times, so I guess it's all James Conner. Give me Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals to win the game at home. I think they make up for that loss a couple weeks ago, and the Arizona Cardinals go back into first place here in the NFC West. Next up, we go to another NFC West team. We've got 2 more NFC West teams coming back to back here. We've got the Los Angeles Rams hosting the Buffalo Bills. This might be the Bills' year, guys. It might be their year. It might be their year in the AFC. Josh Allen looks great. Josh Allen's not going to win the MVP, but he's still, again, he's an elite quarterback in this league, right? Their win over the 49ers last week, expected because of the snow, I'll be honest, but regardless of how the 49ers are, an impressive performance for Josh Allen and the Bills, which is crazy too. Allen's playing this well this season. He's got this team at 10-2. And this is the year, of course, where they don't have Stephon Diggs anymore. He's throwing the ball to, Khalil Shakir, Matt Collins, Dawson Knox, Dalton Kincaid, Keon Coleman, Gabe Davis. Like, again, no elite receivers are on this team. And look at the season Josh Allen's having. James Cook had a huge game last week against the 49ers. And obviously, again, Josh Allen had his Mariota moment where, well, not entirely, threw the ball to Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper pitched it back to him. And Josh Allen catches a receiving touchdown and throws the touchdown in the same play, which is absolutely crazy. For the Bills next week, they got to go to Detroit. That's the game that might keep the Chiefs at the number 1 seed in the AFC this year. It might be. I'm serious. But we do think the Bills beat the Rams here. For Los Angeles, a come from behind victory in their last game over the New Orleans Saints. A game that we thought they were going to win. A game that was a lot tougher than it should have been in the first half. But the Rams started to take over in the second. Kyren Williams had his best day in a while. First time he's eclipsed 100 yards since October. So good for Kyren Williams. I mean, what do you need me to say about the receiving core? Obviously, with Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. Puka was their leading receiver last game, though, with only 55 yards. Stafford didn't look great last week, I'll be honest. The Saints brought pressure and really, messed up Stafford at points in that game. And ultimately, I don't think they beat the Bills here. The Bills are just a better football team. I don't think the Rams are bad. I don't think they're the best team in this division. I think the best team in this division still is the Arizona Cardinals, and I think the Cardinals will still win this division. I've been pretty, constant in that this season. We're taking the Bills to beat the Rams. Josh Allen's the best player on the field, and the playmaking that Josh Allen has is just, he's able to take over games with that. It's almost unfair the way Josh Allen plays. We used to talk about Patrick Mahomes as, oh, how do you beat this guy? Guys, it's starting to become that about Josh Allen, and Josh Allen does not have the defense Patrick Mahomes has, and he doesn't have the weapons Patrick Mahomes has. Imagine if the Bills just put together an even better team in the offseason around Josh Allen. Guys, there was a lot of thought in this offseason that the Bills were the third best team in this division. They're 10-2, and they're on the cusp of getting the number 1 seed in the AFC. Again, I don't think they get that because they got to go play Detroit next week. But still, that's how good Josh Allen is. He's elite, man. He's the best quarterback in the league right now. And if he had the weapons that some other guys have around the league, he might be looked at as the face of the league, and he had probably already won some championships. The Bills beat the Rams here. They go on the road and take care of business because Josh Allen's just that good. He's that good. Next up, we go on to this other NFC West game. We're, of course, talking about the San Francisco 49ers at home against the Chicago Bears. Now, two teams that have been absolutely horrible recently. The Niners have lost 3 in a row to the Seahawks, Packers, and Bills, almost straight up ending their hopes of the postseason. I've been saying it for a long time, too. I said it after that Seahawks game. I was like, I don't know how the Niners... I don't know how they win this division. I said even before that Seahawks game. I was like, I think Arizona's got it because look at the schedule the Niners still have to play too, guys. It's not like they've gotten out of that. They did have that tough game in Green Bay. They had the tough game against the Bills. This is the one game where, it feels like they should win. And again, if they don't beat the Bears, I'm serious, I think they'll wave the white flag. With Jordan Mason being out for the season now. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey went out for the year in that Bills game, but losing Mason too is huge. So now it's Isaac Guerrero as the starting running back. The rookie is starting for San Francisco. I think Israel Abanikanda is going to have a huge, role in this 49ers team. The Niners just claimed him off the New York Jets practice squad. Izzy Abanikanda, if you never watched him at Pittsburgh, he was great there with the Pittsburgh Panthers. He was on that same team with Kenny Pickett, with Jordan Addison, that Pitt team that ended up winning the ACC that season. They beat Wake Forest in the ACC's championship game. Obviously, the classic game now where Kenny Pickett, fake slid and scored a touchdown on the ground. But I think Izzy Abanikanda can be a huge help for this 49ers team, and I'm not just saying that because I, picked him up on waivers this week, but I truly think, again, Izzy Abanikanda is this number 2 back for the 49ers. Maybe it could be Patrick Taylor, but I think, again, it should be Israel Abanikanda as the number 2, and I think eventually maybe Abanikanda should be the number 1 over Guerrero. The Niners will beat the Bears, because the Bears suck. Obviously, they had that whole controversy last week where, Matt Eberflus doesn't call it timeout. Partially, that is Caleb Williams' fault, trying to audible everything on the line, trying to call everything on the line with 5 seconds left to go in the football game. But the Bears, again, were a lot closer than I thought they were going to be with the Lions. That does say something, but obviously that all gets overshadowed because of the way the football game ended. But Caleb Williams did not play a bad game on Thanksgiving. Got the ball to Keenan Allen, 2 touchdowns for the veteran receiver who still looks good at this age. It's just a shame he's wasting it on this, crap that is the Chicago Bears. Again, the Bears season, we go back and rewind. Go watch my video after the Commanders beat the Chicago Bears, and I said this team was going to unravel. That's the type of game, trust me, I've watched sports long enough in my life, that's the type of game that just absolutely changes the trajectory of your season. You are that close to going on the road, picking up a huge victory over the Washington Commanders to go to 5-2 on the season. You lose it, and now we're in December, and you still haven't found that 5th win. And they're not getting it this week. And they're not getting it the week after against the Vikings on the road on Monday Night Football. And then they're not beating the Lions. And they're not gonna beat the Seahawks, and they're not beating the Packers. This team is finishing 4-13. They're not winning another game the rest of the year. And I kid you not, their most winnable game is right now against the 49ers. Because of the injuries the 49ers have, because of the way they've been playing. I still think San Francisco wins, though. They're at home. How do the 49ers not win this football game? Purdy was bad last week in the snow in Buffalo. It is what it is. It's a California team going over to Orchard Park, New York, up north and playing in Buffalo. It is what it is. Yeah, the lack of a run game now is going to be interesting. I mean, obviously, again, Guarendo's going to have a big game. I think Abanikanda, again, is going to be their best guy. We'll see. The receiving core, obviously, Debo is just, he looks great on kick return, but Debo, other than that, hasn't been a big factor in the passing game all year long. It's been Juwan Jennings. It's been George Kittle. Outside of those guys, obviously, again, Brandon Ayuk's gone for the rest of the season. It's a rough team. It's been a rough season for San Francisco this year. Ultimately, yeah, they're going to beat the Bears because the Bears are horrible. Again, my local high school team could probably find a way to beat the Chicago Bears right now. All that turmoil, firing Eberflus, they're not going to be good going into this game. They're not going to win a game the rest of the football year. And I don't think, again, it's Caleb's fault. I think it's everything else around Caleb. Give me the Niners to win. They'll get things done at home. If they don't, man, I don't know what to say about the 49ers. The 49ers are going to become that team instead of the Bears where we just laugh at every single week. I'm serious. It will be the 49ers. This is the, yeah. If the 49ers lose this game, they're banned. They're actually banned if they lose this week. Yeah, they're definitely banned. We're done betting on the 49ers the rest of the season if they don't win this game. Because they should absolutely hammer the Chicago Bears. Now, actually, I don't know if we're going to, 4 points though. Oh, the Bears have been really close. I'd throw this in a parlay and just hope it happens because I don't see a chance where they don't win. Ooh, -4 though. They're not losing to the Bears. I feel pretty good about that. Give me the 49ers to win at home in Santa Clara against the Chicago Bears. We go on to Sunday Night Football between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Los Angeles Chargers. We're taking the Chargers. The Chiefs aren't that good. How many times, I'm serious, this isn't me like crying about the Chiefs. How many times has this team gotten bailed out this season? I don't know, man. It's really weird. Something's going on. The Ravens game, the Bengals game, the Falcons game, the last Raiders game, the Broncos game, it sure was a block kick, but still, how many times have the Chiefs just gotten by off of some crap? It's ridiculous. The Chargers right now, I think, are the better football team. I believe that. I think the Chargers are better than Kansas City. Justin Herbert's been playing better than Patrick Mahomes this season, and he's doing it with Ladd McConkey, Josh Palmer, Will Dissly, and Quentin Johnston, And I know, again, J.K. Dobbins is out. That's fine. Gus Edwards is going to have to run the ball. Unfortunately for the Chargers, they're just going to kind of go away from the run game now. I think they're just going to throw the ball a million times against Kansas City, which, might work. This Kansas City secondary isn't the best. We saw Aiden O'Connell have some success against them, obviously, with the big touchdown pass to Trey Tucker. Brock Bowers was really involved. I need to see the Chargers give Herbert some more guys next year, because he's doing this well with this team. Likely Los Angeles is a playoff team with this squad this season. Imagine what can happen next year if they just get some more pieces around Justin Herbert. I'm just saying. I think they go into Kansas City and win. Yeah, I said I don't think the Chiefs are that good this season. I really don't think they are. Yeah, they're 11-1. But they are a very fraudulent 11-1, guys. They are. Last week, a win over the Raiders. Mahomes didn't play badly, but they barely got by against the Raiders, who have 2 wins. They got by against the Panthers, sure, good for you. Barely got by against the Broncos. They won a coin toss in the Buccaneers game, so they won the game. Raiders games, first time around, barely got by. Their best win all year is probably the game in San Francisco where they beat the Niners, but we know what the Niners are this year. Probably the Saints, too. They look good in that game. Almost, barely got by the Chargers the first time around. Competitive game. Barely got by the Falcons on some, iffy calls on Sunday Night Football at the beginning of the year. Got absolutely robbed the Bengals in the beginning of the season. Barely got by the Ravens on opening night. They have just gotten by all year long. And right now, the Chargers are playing better football. I don't think the Chiefs are going to be able to run on this Chargers defense. I don't know how well Mahomes is going to do against the secondary. Guys, the Chargers right now have one of the best defenses in the NFL. The Broncos, we talk about as an elite defense in this league. The Steelers, obviously. And the Los Angeles Chargers need to be in that conversation as well. This team is playing great defense, and they've been doing it all year long. 13 points against the Falcons last week. I get it, the Falcons are going through a rough patch, but still, part of that's because of the Chargers. 8 points early in the season, the Saints game, 10 against the Browns, 17 against the Titans, 17 against the Cardinals, 17 the first time around against the Chiefs. This is a really good Chargers defense, and Justin Herbert is playing like a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, and it's because he is right now a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Give me the Los Angeles Chargers to go to Kansas City and win the football game. Justin Herbert picks up the biggest win of the season for Los Angeles. It takes the Chargers to 9-4. It doesn't completely eliminate them from the division race, but I don't really see where the Chiefs lose 2 more games this season. I can see them losing on Christmas to the Steelers. I don't really see where else they could lose. Maybe in Denver last week of the year. Maybe. But if the Chargers want any shot to win the division, they have to get it done. And I do think they go on the road to Arrowhead, to Sunday Night Football, where, oh God, we gotta listen to Collinsworth glaze Mahomes all night. Guys, Josh Allen scored a touchdown. That same touchdown, the Amari Cooper pitch, where there's the passing and receiving touchdown for Josh Allen. And I kid you not, Chris Collinsworth said, Amari Cooper's bringing it. Oh, sorry, let me do my voice. Ha ha! Here's a guy. Amari Cooper's bringing some KC to Buffalo. And I thought to myself, I was like, wait, Amari Cooper. Wait. I was like, did Amari Cooper ever play in Kansas City? I was like, no, wait, he played for the Raiders in Oakland. I was like, he's never played in Kansas City. It's just the Mahomes and Kelsey Chiefs glaze is just out of hand. And now we gotta hear Collinsworth talk about Mahomes and the Chiefs all day long. I hope the Chargers win, man. I really hope they do. Give me Los Angeles. This is the first underdog we've taken all video. It's just the favorites are looking really good this week. But I will take a dog here. Give me the Chargers. Next up, final game of the week, Monday Night Football. I'm so pumped. It's the Simpsons game. Guys, ESPN's doing a broadcast where, I kid you not, the Bengals and the Cowboys are going to be playing in, Simpsonsville, I guess. I haven't really watched Simpsons that close. But there's a game, they're going to have basically an animated version of this game. Like they did the Toy Story Bowl last year. They're going to do it with the Simpsons on Monday Night Football. I'm not watching the actual broadcast of this game. I'm watching the Simpsons version. That's a lie. I'll probably get sick of the Simpsons version in about 2 minutes. But still, I'm pumped. Guys, it's Team Homer, and I believe Homer's with the Cowboys, taking on Team Bart and the Bengals. This is great. Awesome. I'm so pumped for this football game. And the Bengals are going to absolutely dismantle the Cowboys, because the Cowboys, they beat the Giants. Well, they were expected to beat the Giants because the Giants aren't very good. The Bengals are going to run right through the Cowboys. The Bengals are going to be able to score, and they're going to score, and they're going to score, and they're going to score some more. They're going to score at will, and the Cowboys just won't be able to keep up with Cooper Rush and company. Now, that's it for the prediction. I said it earlier in the video. There was a trade I was thinking of with the Cincinnati Bengals. Hear me out. It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. But if the Bengals right now, you look at the grand scheme of things, call me crazy, but look at the grand scheme of things. Can the Cincinnati Bengals win right now with Joe Burrow? It's not a Joe Burrow problem, by the way. It's not that at all. It's, do they have the pieces around Joe Burrow right now to win? Because obviously this year it's not working. Burrow keeps on looking more and more frustrated with the situation. Hear me out. What if you trade Joe Burrow to Jacksonville in exchange for Trevor Lawrence and picks? I get it. The Jags and the Bengals kind of like the same record this season, and the comp I'll make to it is the Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff trade. I know Burrow and Lawrence are the same age. They literally played each other in the national championship game, 5 years ago at LSU and Clemson, but hear me out. You put a win now move basically in Jacksonville. The Jags, Tony Khan, Shad Khan, and the Khans over there in Jacksonville, Duval County, are sick of losing. They trade some picks, and they get Joe Burrow, a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. The Bengals in exchange get Trevor Lawrence, who's a top 15 quarterback in the league, shown potential, looks really good at times, guy who's taken the Jags to the playoffs before, and the Bengals rebuild around Trevor Lawrence. Because obviously what the Bengals have right now is not working. I'm just looking at it from a grand scheme of things. Can the Bengals win in the near future with this team? Look at the Ravens right now. Look at the Steelers. The Browns, who cares? But, like, are they going to be better than the Ravens and the Steelers are in the next 3 years? The next 2 years? So what if the Bengals completely just rebuild? You get rid of Jamar Chase. Obviously, he's got the contract situation. Don't keep him around. You know, you don't have an elite running back. Sure, you've got Chase Brown, but you lost Joe Mixon. Is it the worst idea? Because are they going to win with Burrow soon? I get it. Burrow's very young. This is a complete hypothetical. I know it wouldn't make entire sense because you can just build around Burrow. But at the same time, if you're able to get, I'm just saying, if they get a crap ton of draft capital for Burrow from Jacksonville. I've completely, by the way, just made this up my own, but still by myself. But I'm just thinking. And for the Jags, all right. You put Joe Burrow in Jacksonville. Why would the Jaguars do this? Well, you get Joe Burrow. Sure, you trade your draft capital, but now free agents want to come and play in Jacksonville. Players are not going to turn down going to Florida where there's no state income tax, and you get to play with Joe Burrow. The Jaguars will get guys to come to Jacksonville in free agency to play for the Jaguars. So I get it. It's a win-now move for the Jaguars, but think about it. The way these two teams are structured right now, the Bengals have not gotten it done with a team that looks really good on paper, but simply put, can't get to the postseason and haven't gotten to the postseason in 2 seasons. I get it, Burrow was injured last year, but Burrow's played very well this season, looked like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL this year, and they're not even anywhere near the postseason. Okay, so you send Burrow off, and then you rebuild in Cincinnati. The thing with the Jaguars, why would the Jaguars win now? The AFC South is horrible. And the Jaguars, yeah, they're the worst team in the division right now, but the Texans are the division leaders right now, and the Texans, let's be honest, aren't that great. If the Texans do win the division, which they probably should, I will again give you my Will Levis propaganda, but the Titans are probably not winning the division. They've got to win out, and they need the Texans to start losing. The Texans, guys, they are an automatic L in the first round of the postseason, likely to the Baltimore Ravens or the Los Angeles Chargers. They're like the Falcons right now in the NFC. I think the Bucs overtake that, and that problem's gone. But all I'm saying is, again, the Jags, if you just look to win now, the Jaguars can win the division every single year for the next 4 seasons with that team and potentially make runs in the postseason. If you get Joe Burrow, and yes, you trade your draft capital, but that's going to be a high pick the Jaguars have. And look, the Jaguars could trade that pick, and the Bengals could either get McMillan or Travis Hunter really early in the draft and immediately get Trevor Lawrence, a playmaker in Cincinnati. And the Bengals keep their pick too, so they have another pick in the first round. Again, this will never happen. I'm just rambling, something I thought of. I get it, doesn't make sense. Yes, the Bengals probably wouldn't want to do that, but my philosophy is, guys, the Bengals have all this talent, sure, and they're 4-8. Obviously, right now, it's not working. I don't know. I'm just saying. It's not going to happen. But despite that, give me the Bengals to win this game against the Cowboys. Yeah, it's a very out there idea I just came up with, but I was just thinking. I was like, that could potentially make sense. I think, honestly, I'm probably overvaluing Trevor Lawrence a lot more than people actually do. I think Lawrence is still pretty solid, and that's probably part of the reason why I do think that trade can work. I don't know. Regardless, it's never going to happen, but I'm just throwing it out there. Folks, thank y'all for watching our week number 14 predictions here at the NFL. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you do disagree with any of the picks. Folks, thank y'all for watching, and Mamba forever.